Okay, today we're going to be doing a baby back ribs. We're using the Traeger 321 baby back ribs recipe. I've already mixed up the ingredients. As you can see, I'm using three ribs. But basically I doubled the recipe, and if I don't use all the sauce, I don't use all the sauce. So 2/3 mustard, a cup of apple juice, actually a little more than a cup of apple juice. This is listed twice, but I'm assuming it's only 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, although since I doubled I used 2. And I haven't got the brown sugar. I haven't got the brown sugar out yet because that doesn't come into play till later. And of course I haven't done anything with the honey yet. So I've already lathered the back sides of the grill, or excuse me, the ribs. I'm going to go ahead and do the front side now. And, or the meat side, I think is what it's called. So the 3-2-1 recipe is 3 hours we're going to smoke, basically with them on the grill with the meat side up for 3 hours. And then we're going to take them off and we're going to wrap them up in foil and let them cook at 225 for 2 hours. Might even actually take that a little bit longer. I think I saw a video somewhere. If you want the meat to be more kind of fall off the bone, cook it in the foil longer. Anyone have any thoughts on that? Maybe we'll see. Maybe I'll do that part for 3 hours again. And then the last step is to take it out of the foil and cook for an additional hour. And you know, I did ribs before when I actually cooked the ribs, and we ate them that night. It didn't seem all that great. I did a couple times. I think I did a 3-2-1, and I did one other one, and that had barbecue sauce on it. This is more, I consider a dry rub type. Anyway, so the time I cooked them, I didn't think I liked it. But we actually didn't eat it all, because I think I did a total of 6 racks. And we froze it. Later on, we took them out, defrosted them, heated them up. Actually, I think we heated them up because they lasted a while, so we heated them up and had several meals. By the way, I'm using this Dickey's pit barbecue rib rub that I got. If I can get this stuff out. Alright, well, I'll deal with this off the video here. Anyway, so we reheated the ribs, and they actually came out really, really good. They seem better than when the day I cooked them. So that's just a thought. I'm going to go ahead and season these. Next time we'll fire up the grill. Alright, I've brought the ribs outside. It's a beautiful day today. It's windy, very windy yesterday. It's nice and sunny right now. Temperature is about 80, what is that, 86? It's early, so I guess it really doesn't feel that. So to fire up this grill, open up the lid. I'm going to turn this guy. To smooth. And give it 4 to 5 minutes till fire gets going on. And then we're going to put the ribs on. As a reminder, we're going to cook them for 3 hours. Just like this, sitting on the grill, of course, like that. So I was talking about the wind. So it was windy yesterday, and actually a full moon. And I swear that moon was super bright last night. I don't know if the wind blew away all the stuff in the atmosphere or it was my imagination. I took a couple pictures of it. Maybe I'll even add a picture to the video. We'll see. We'll see. I just was pretty amazed on how bright the sun, moon, not the sun, the moon was last night. It was pretty awesome, and being a full moon. All right, I'll get these on the grill, and I'll show you what that looks like on the grill Just goes, well, we're going to let it get heated up and then I'll check back with you. Alright, well our fire is established, but of course, just a quick reminder, I want to check, we're going to be cooking for 6-7 hours, so I want to check the pellets. Of course you should always check the pellets, and I'm glad I did because look how empty it was. So the next thing I was going to do, I have this bucket of pellets. I keep it sealed so the moisture doesn't get in there and shorten the life of the pellets. Anyway, I was thinking, okay, which bag's open? And I could have accidentally used Mystique, and let me show you accidentally. And I don't know, since I don't know, I gotta go with what's documented. So pellets for pork, the Mystique is dashed out. So I'm glad I looked as a double check as a reference. So we're going to use a hickory. And in case you don't know what this is, and this book is totally cool, I'll go over it one day. This is the Traeger book that comes with your grill. Let me see if I can get to the cover here. This guy right here. Very, very helpful book, and I'll cover this a little bit later because there is a lot of good information in there. As you can see, I used it today. You know, the recipe is not friendly enough on the recipe to give you a suggestion of the pellets to use. So I'm going to fill up the pellets, we'll put the ribs on, and we'll get one last shot before we get going. Alright, I just put the ribs in. Our thermometer here is reading about 170, 180, coming up pretty quickly. And down here, oh, it looks like they're both kind of in sync right now. This is about 175. Well, that's cool. I'm sure that would change over time. So I did try to strategically place these ribs in somewhat of a logical position. So to as wide as or as deep as these ribs are, I wanted to try, and I don't know if I can get a shot of this, to make sure that that rib is not over the heat shield or drip pan, whatever that, it's dual purpose obviously, because if you get food to the edge, it gets very hot because it's not protected by the shield. Also, generally, I found out the side to the stack, God, I hope the sun's not too bright, it happens to be pointing right at us, and there's my neighbor and the Harley. So anyway, this side tends to be a little hotter, so I tried putting the thicker rib on this side. Thicker rib, thicker part of the rib. Anyway, we're going to go and let this cook. I'm sure the video's blown out, but I can't control the sun. See you in a little while. 3 hours actually. We'll check back in 3 hours. Alright, we've made it to the 3-hour mark. I'm going to be taking these off. We're going to end up wrapping them up. Let's get this onto 225. That's our temperature for our next step, which we will be leaving in there between 2 and 3 hours. So I'm going to take these off. I don't think I can do it all with one hand. So I'm going to put down the video, we'll take it off, we'll head to the kitchen, and we'll go take it over from there. Alright, here we go. I've got the foil cut. So we'll make little boats, I'll call it, to put the ribs on. We're only going to put the sugar and the honey on top, layered on the top of the ribs, the racks, as the instructions call, or the directions or recipe says. And then we'll pour in some apple juice in the little boats, and then we'll cover it up and put it back on the grill. This is the rib right now. It looks pretty good, huh? It's really stiff. I think that will loosen up, you know, once they get done here. See, it seems pretty stiff. I don't know if that's important, but just notice that when I took them off the Traeger. So anyway, I'm going to get to work on this. I'll show you. One of these I am not going to put any brown sugar on. Maybe I will put a little honey. One of my daughters doesn't really like sweet, so I want to encourage her to like the ribs, so we're going to go one that's not sweet, and maybe I'll have to mark it so I'll remember which one it is. Anyway, I'm going to get to work, and I'll show you one of these in the actual foil before I cover it up. Alright, I've got 2 of the ribs wrapped up, and guess what I didn't do? I didn't mark one of them. So at least I remember which one it is, so I will mark it here in just a second. So I'm going to take the last rib, plop it on my boat that I created. Here's, I just kind of crimped the ends. If you can see that okay, it might be kind of hard to see. But basically I got a boat here. And then we've got the sugar. This one will be super sweet. So I'm supposed to do the honey first. Well, let's read. Let's see. I'm going to pause it while I read. Okay, no, I'm doing it right. Guess I can't film and do something at the same time. Whoa, spoon. So let me figure out how to do this, if I can do this on the video. Get the honey in there. Now I did warm this up. We have a bunch of honey. This probably wasn't my favorite one to use because, as you see, it's kind of clunky. But I got this weird thing. Well, I don't like stuff sitting around the house. I have a feeling the heat will melt this for me anyhow, so I'm not entirely that concerned about it. You know, I'm wondering if next time I would do the honey first, but we'll have to see how this all works out. Because really it would have been cool to coat this all this with the honey. By the way, the other one looked prettier than this. I guess it's just harder for me to hold the camera and do this, because I would have used 2 hands just on the honey. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pour the apple juice. Get the apple juice in here. I don't know about on it. I kind of just a little bit on it, but mostly around it. I think the idea with this apple juice is it's going to end up kind of steaming. And I think I saw in a YouTube video, there's a lot of them out there and we love them, that if you keep it in there longer, wrapped up, it makes it more meat kind of fall off the bone, which I kind of like. I feel like I get more meat that way and it doesn't stick on the bone. Some people say it's overcooked. I'm not sure. I guess it has been, but I think it probably depends on how it was cooked. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little more apple juice, wrap this up. You know, they end up looking like this. I think ultimately you don't want any holes in it, because you want everything to stay in there. But anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap it up, get it on the grill. I'll let you see what that looks like, just because I can. I've already turned up the temperature to 225, so I'll check with you in just a little while. Alright, it's been about 2.5 hours since the foil. We're running temperature-wise 238. Over here, this guy, we're looking, I guess about 240. Of course, nothing to look at here. So what I'll do is I'll get these taken off, I'll unwrap them, and we'll take a peek at them. Alright, there is a specific warning, of course, when we open up the foil, to watch for steam. But you know, one thing I noticed is it's a lot limpier now. Ooh, God, it might almost already be done. Did you see that just kind of break apart like that? So I think I'm going to only put it back on there for about a half an hour. Alright, so I'm going to carefully get these back on the grill, and we'll talk after I get them on. Alright, so I got the ribs back in there, but boy, I could hardly keep them together. So they're kind of piled in there, but I'm going to let them cook in there for about another 30 minutes. And I'm going to reheat these later on, so I'm not going to do the full hour, I don't think, especially because it looks like they're already kind of falling apart already. Anyway, I did get a little piece of meat fell off, and I ate some. It was really, really good. So we'll take these off in about 30 minutes, and we'll take a look at them when they're inside. You know, a question I have, maybe someone can help me. sometimes you wrap a meat, right? You wrap a meat, you let it sit. I mean, it says to let these sit, but you know, for about, I don't remember what it said, a few minutes, 20 minutes, maybe a half hour. But sometimes, you know, it tells you to wrap the meat. What do you do? What's a I had some chicken. Someone commented on where I had wrapped the chicken. They suggested, well, maybe don't wrap it. Maybe that's what was drying it off. I don't know. What's the rule on that? Wrap, don't wrap. When do you wrap? When don't you wrap? Anyway, I know there's really nothing to look at as I'm talking here. But what do you do? Please, this whole experience is me trying to learn how to use the Traeger. Thank you, Traeger, for making a neat product and giving all the recipes and everything else and the great spices and sauces. But is me learning, sharing my experience, and just hoping others can chime in and help us, help everybody that's watching. All right, thank you. Check with you once the ribs are in the kitchen. All right, here's the end result. I think I'm pretty happy with it. I definitely got what I want. It's fall off the bone. In fact, I can just take out the bone. Not much meat on there anymore. I don't think it's dry. I mean, it doesn't feel dry. You can see, maybe you can see the moisture. It feels nice and soft. And you know what? It's definitely not dry. See? I don't know if you can see that. But it tastes really, really good. So score on Traeger. Thanks for the recipe. I think this was a job well done. Excellent. Once again, I'll take any feedback, any questions, comments. Remember that whole wrapping thing. Anyone can help me out with that, that'd be great. Really good. Sorry about that. And I'll try to get a picture of that moon from yesterday. It's been a windy day today. In fact, a bunch of fires around. Anyway, looking forward to eating this for dinner. Bye now.